Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Batman The Long Halloween Part 1 and 2 Steelbooks. So I decided to do this as a both together because Part 1 came out like a month or so ago and Long Halloween Part 2 only just came out this week on the Steelbook. Well, I only just got it this week actually from Amazon. So I thought I'd wait and do a combined video instead of doing two separate ones, and then I'll give my views then of the movie at the end of the video. So first off, we will look at the Steelbooks. So we will look at Part 1 first. So J card by there. Got Solomon, Grundy, Catwoman, Joker, little write-up of the movie, and a couple of special features. So very nice Steelbook indeed. I do like the art, and I do. Got Batman, Catwoman, and Joker on the front. Very nice indeed. Nice nighttime by there over Gotham. Couple of calendar pages by there as well. Glistens nicely in the light, especially the lighter parts, the lit pumpkin and that. And then the spine, just your normal spine really, nothing special about that. And then on the back end we got a better view of the Joker with a blood-stained Joker card. So very nice art indeed. It is very beautiful. And then we get onto the second part. So the back of that just has the other characters in. So you've got Mad Hatter, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, and Harvey Dent, Two-Face. So, and again, a couple of a DC Showcase short, Blue Beetle special features right up in the movie as well. So, but on this side we got Harvey Dent's face by there, the acid damaged side of his face, and then you got Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, and Batman again. I'll tell you my little dislike on this one now, and it's pretty much the same for the first one as well. But you have a nice little picture on the back here of Two-Face in his half and half suit, and his normal side of the face and his damaged side, and there's flicking his trademark coin by there. But again, very nice, lovely artwork. Love the city in the background, Gotham, with a nice little nightlight there. It is. We'll have a look inside first. Nice little cover inside of the first part, Gotham City. And in this one, yep, disc's not in here because I got still in my 4K player. And then you have the pumpkin, but that's on the front of the cover as well, which is like Two-Face, one rotten part and one normal part on top of the leaves, autumn leaves, with calendar pages, all dates of the holidays. So, right, my only dislike on these is I like that they've made it like that, Joker, Two-Face, but I honestly think they should have put Joker by there, take Batman out of that page, he's on this one, and have Harvey Dent normal face, and then his half and half face, and his the damaged face. And I think it would have looked, don't get me wrong, it looks lovely, I do like what they've done, but I honestly think, yeah, Joker should have been by there, and instead of, I don't know, you don't need Batman on both. And then the main character of this story is Harvey Dent and Two-Face, so he would have been better off having half his whole face by there, but the good half and the bad half. It is. But that's my only dislike of these Steelbooks. It is. Otherwise, the art is beautiful, and it's a nice little design, and I appreciate what they've done as well. It is. And it doesn't seem to line up either, actually, when you think about it. Right by there. That is another nitpick. That looks, it's not properly, and I know they're two different faces, but you're doing that, you have it match up at the end of the day. But definitely, if you can get your hands on these, buy them. It is. I think they're out of stock, to be honest, right now and all that. But keep an eye out and pick them out because they are very nice indeed. And now I will go on to my thoughts of the movie. And being a fan of the comic, which I have, I do appreciate they took a few. Because you got Haunted Night, The Long Halloween, and Dark Victory. Victory is kind of like the trilogy of Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's run in this. So Dark Victory is just pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, this is the sequel to the Long Halloween. It is. But so, and then you get Robin in that one. But most of the story takes place out of these two. So you get a couple of little, like Haunted Night is probably the first one. So there's a few little scenes in this that they put in the animated show. 'Cause the animated movie ain't a true retelling of this. Obviously, like most of what DC animation has been doing lately, they've been adapting these stories like Hush and just taking a little and just tweaking it a bit to change it up a tiny bit and all that. And they do the same for this, and I don't blame them for doing that, only because if you've read the comic, you're gonna actually know what's going on then in the show, in the movie and all that, the animated movie. So yeah, it was a good retelling, not the best. It's the problem with that is this is such a long story. It was 12 issues, the Long Halloween was. I think it came out once. It spanned a year. I think it was like one issue a month type of thing when it was coming out, and each one was based on the holiday. As the guy in it was, the killer in the book was Falcone's son. Spoiler, sorry. But it's a pretty faithful retelling. A couple of tweaks here and there. It is. I love the artwork in the comic. I wasn't a big fan of the artwork in the story. I'll tell you what. Right, now we're on to my review of the movie, and I did like it overall. I kind of, what part did I enjoy the most? Be honest, man, I can't say I enjoyed either part the most. I think they were both good. They were. Yeah, the story takes place over the course of a year, so Halloween to Halloween, and it's about a killer who's killing people on holidays like Mother's Day, St. Patrick's Day. First one was on Halloween. I think Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, is it? So, and it's up to Batman and Gordon, Commissioner Gordon, to try and think with the help of Harvey Dent, who is the new DA in Gotham. So this is kind of an origin story for him as well, how he became Two-Face. And you get a lot of the main villains that Batman has. He is by far, he has the best gallery of villains in comics. I think the only one I think that kind of rivals him, but is not as strong. Nearly rivals him, but it's not as strong as Spider-Man. But yeah, the gallery of villains Batman has got is some of them are incredible. You've got a couple of them in here who are epic. So you got obviously Two-Face, who becomes a really good villain. Joker's always up there as the best villain. He'll always be classed as the best villain in comics, pretty much. Poison Ivy was another good one. They use Scarecrow a little bit. They have the Mad Hatter. Don't really do much with him. they don't. But yeah, I will go into my likes and dislikes now. So I'll go into my likes, and it's a pretty faithful adaptation of this story. It's tweaked a little bit, which most of the Batman newer ones, like Hush, etc., are tweaked a bit. My favourite adaptations of Batman's stories, so really the two of my favourite is The Dark Knight and Batman Year One. Them two were written by Frank Miller back in the 80s and all that, which rejuvenated the Batman comic and comics probably in thing. Him and Frank Miller pretty much for Batman and all that, gave him a new lease of life. He did after, you know, comics were taking a hit a bit in the 80s and all over the storylines and that. But yeah, them two are probably my favourite adaptations, which are pretty faithful. They don't really change hardly anything. The stories are pretty much the same and all that. But this one, they change it up a little bit, which I understand is the same as Hush, because you've got a villain who you don't know who it is. So when the reveal, if you know who it is first off, it's I don't think the animated films would be that good, to be honest. I'm glad they changed the killer in it, and they done a pretty good job. I'll go into spoilers because, to be honest, the comics are a long thing, and this is fair enough. This is a new animated thing, but I'm going to go into spoilers anyway. The villain in the comic version is Carmine Falcone's son. I forgot his name now. It is Alberto Falcone. But in the animated one, he gets killed off in the end of part 1. So you find out then that the two killers in this one are Harvey Dent's wife, who you found out wanted her revenge on the Carmine family because she was in love with Alberto Falcone. She was pregnant with his child, but because Carmine Falcone wouldn't accept her into the family because she was pregnant out the wedlock. I think she loses the baby and all that, and then she gets with Harvey Dent because Harvey Dent is the district attorney, and she needed someone to try and get the family and all that. And then towards the end of the movie, and you find out pretty much that Two-Face Harvey Dent kind of knows it's his wife, so he finishes it all off. So he kills Carmine Falcone at the end of part 2 and all that, same as in the comic pretty much. So he wraps up the holiday killer, he does, overall. But yeah, I like the story. I like some of the animation. I think they try to be too much like the style from the comic, and it doesn't really work. Some of them like they got eyeliner under it, like Batman, like Bruce Wayne and all that. Some of the animation's really shoddy, to be honest, in this. Some of it's really good, it is, but yeah, the majority of it is really. And to be honest, DC movies have been going like that lately and all that. They've the last few haven't been great, especially the Batman ones. Some of the Justice League ones and all have been good, especially like Apocalypse Wars and stuff like that. They've been like Justice League Dark ones of them. They've been really good, so I don't understand why they never used that for this. They shouldn't try to be too much like the comic. I know it works in some of them because some of the art and all that, but I don't think Tim Sale's art transfers to film as good, to be honest. I love the voice acting. Jensen Ackles, who's from Supernatural fame, he was also in Smallville, small part in Smallville for a season. He plays Bruce Wayne and Batman, does really good job. I've heard some say, oh, he's more like what's his name, the one who done him in the Batman animated series. Apologies, name's gone on my head right now, but I don't think so. I think he brought a good spin on it himself and all that. So yeah, he done a really good job. I'm losing the names in my head now. For Josh Hamel, who plays Harvey Dent, I'm not the biggest fan of his voice for Dent. I love his voice for Two-Face in the part 2. I think he nails that. Like, when he's talking as Dent, it's better in part 2 when he's got that voice and then he's got his Two-Face, the evil voice, and speaking over it. But part 1, yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of his voice work. I wasn't. You also have Nia Rivera, who plays Catwoman. She does a really good job. I liked her voice for it. The guy who does Joker's voice, and he does a lot of voiceover work. He did the voice. I forgot his name now. It's on tip of my tongue. It's gone. Problem with the Joker one is he sounds too much like Mark Hamill's. He's just doing an impression of Mark Hamill's Joker, in my opinion. I like the ones who do his voice, Joker's voice, but do their little, put their little take on it, let's say, and all that, and thing. So that's a bit of a, but the voice acting pretty much overall kind of hits it out of the park. There's a couple that I'm a bit, little nitpicks with and all that, but yeah. Anything else I liked? Pretty much that's pretty much the bulk of the action as well. Is really good. Get some really good action as well. My dislikes are, I'm not a fan of the Catwoman's design in this. It's just your generic one, at least in the comic. If I can show you a quick picture, she has more purple and she has like thigh-high boots and all that. If I can, that's the back of her, but there, if you can see, and then she's got like gloves, long gloves on and all that. It is. I really do like her look in this one, and it's the same as when she doesn't have her cowl on. She looks a little bit different, more longer hair and all. Here's another picture of her from the comic, which I think that design is one of my favourites, to be honest. Very nice indeed. It is. So yeah, her design was a little bit of a thing. Like I said, a bit of the voice acting from Josh to Hamel, I was a little bit disappointed with. I don't know why the film didn't flow perfectly with me. It's such a long comic and all that. I don't think you could do it justice in 2 films, especially animated ones, which they pretty much just do for an hour 20 minutes. I don't think it works. This could have been a really good animated series. They could have done a really, 12 episodes, half an hour to 40 minutes long, doing each of the holidays and all that. And I think it would have worked miles better as the comic. Calendar Man has a lot more to do in the comic than he does in the thing. He has a couple of scenes in the animated show, in the animated movie, and that's about it, to be honest. But in the comic, he's more in the story. As like Batman goes to him quite a few times in the comic and all that, to try and find answers to who the killer is and all that, so if you can get help him and all that. I think that's my only couple of downfalls of the thing. So overall, yeah, I'd give this series as a whole, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. Not the best. Miles better than Hush. I wasn't a big fan of Hush. I was really disappointed where, if you haven't seen the spoilers, but when they used the Riddler as being the killer instead of Bruce Wayne's friend, who saves his life in it. But yeah, overall, I definitely recommend if you buying this, if you're an animated DC fan or animated fan, because they really do kind of knock it out the park for animation. They piss on Marvel, but I just watched the first episode of Marvel's What If, and I gotta admit, I really enjoyed that. And if that's the things to come with the animated side of Marvel, look out DC. Marvel will be taking that crown as well, pretty much. It is. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Tell me your review, your comments down below of what you thought of this movie, or if you're gonna go and try and buy it and watch it. And subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos, I guess. And I will see you next time. Bye.